seeing a very, very united Treasury benches? Because, you know, that position of allies as far as the BJP is concerned has also meant now that after this entire victory of Mahayuti, where the BJP was certainly doing the heavy lifting, the allies will also be now rallying behind BJP on almost all issues. Mr. Vyas, if you heard me.
Good morning, Mariaji.
Okay.
I say it is a very known fact. Everybody knows that the recently held Maharashtra Assembly elections were fought under the dynamic leadership of Present Chief Minister Eknath Rawji Shinde, and we won unitedly. And then everybody, all allies, including rank and file of three parties, they worked together unitedly and very smoothly. We have won about 234 seats out of 288 seats. So there is no reason to suspect or think that we will not be united in future also. Whosoever be elected as the chief minister will be decided, as you said, today or tomorrow. And then we will be unitedly serving the people of Maharashtra. For the faith deposed in us, we will be... there will not be any infighting for any post, including chief ministership. That you can take it from us.
And you're also saying that there'll be no difference of opinion among allies on legislation also in Parliament.
Last 2.5 years, we are working as a unit, and we are successfully running this government. I don't think anybody has seen any differences for last 2.5 years. So why we should believe that in future also there will be a difference? There will not be.
Okay. Fine enough. Fine enough. Om Birla, the Lok Sabha Speaker, has spoken. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
नियम परंपराओं से मैं आचरण को बदला नहीं जा सकता। नियम परंपराएं एक दृष्टिकोण देती, दिशा देती है। इसलिए बाबा साहब ने उस समय कहा था कि संविधान को मानने वाले और संविधान को एग्जीक्यूट करने वाले लोगों पर निर्भर करेगा। आज भी संविधान हो चाहे संसद हो, उच्च कोटि की मर्यादाएं, उच्च कोटि का आचरण हमारे व्यवहार में होना चाहिए। जितना हमारे व्यवहार चिंतन में उच्च कोटि का व्यवहार होगा, आचरण की शुद्धता होगी, उतनी ही हम बेहतर संस्थाओं की गरिमा को बढ़ा पाएंगे।
Om Birla there, who has been facing multiple questions from opposition, some direct ones as well, Zainab, where we have seen, you know, some direct jibe being thrown at the role of the speaker, which happened in the earlier monsoon session, something which was not taken very well by him. Several Treasury benches, MPs came out in support of the Lok Sabha Speaker. The Speaker's chair is supposed to be completely bipartisan, but what we have seen increasingly after the soon after the formation of the 18th Lok Sabha, that there was direct charge that was leveled against, Om Birla by not one but multiple leaders in the India bloc.
It's unfortunate, but, that tends to happen. This is not the first time that a speaker has been accused in the history of Parliament. And, it's just that now, because of social media and, how much information is broadcasted, we get to see these things more. So they seem to be more offensive. But the seat of the speaker is sacrosanct. And I think we should continue to look at it like that, because then, everything can be questioned, from EVMs to democracy to everything. So I think at some point we need to, stop being so harsh when it comes to, chairs in positions, and especially constitutional positions that are sacrosanct, and just, see that these are just, sort of problems that come with the daily workings of the parliament. And of course, they will be attacked. There have been previous speakers also who have been, called, bipartisan, who've been called bias, but I don't think these things should be taken too seriously. I think what should be, given more importance is that important matters are taken up, in the sessions of Parliament, and also discussions should be made that are for the people and for better governance. I think that should be the main priority.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and for people-centric, decisions, one decision that we are expecting and one bill which will be taken up is focus on ease of banking. But before I bring in Aishwarya on that particular legislation, let me get a word from Sajjan on the role of Om Birla, the Lok Sabha Speaker. Very, very tough, particularly when we are seeing that there is no effort at cooperation.
Yeah, precisely. I mean,
it's a complete point of confrontation between the opposition and the treasury benches.
Yeah, and that has been the trend, and I do not see a kind of a hope that it is going to improve in the future also, because what you see that the political jargons and the chemistry between the top leaders also is something which has taken a hit. And therefore, after both Congress and BJP had their solace in Maharashtra and Jharkhand, it was expected that the temperature will cool down and perhaps some sort of improvement will happen. Now, particularly for the Congress, despite Priyanka Gandhi's landslide victory at the Wayanad, it has been since Jammu, Haryana and now Maharashtra, and even in Jharkhand, it was primarily the regional party, there has been an underwhelming performance of the Congress.
Yes.
And therefore this confrontationist attitude inside the parliament should also be reflected into a very assertive, performative, performance, in the elections and outside also.
Yes.
So this colossal gap doesn't augur well, and I think it is for the Congress, which leads the India Alliance, to, kind of pause, have a restraint, and try to think about some sort of a policy cooperation with the BJP, because I think the treasury benches at this point of time will certainly hope that there has to have some sort of understanding. And this post of Om Birla, it was attacked not only by the opposition but by the prime leaders also.
Yes.
So one must remember Somnath Chatterjee, who went against the wishes of his own party to uphold the high tradition of the chair. So chair is sanctimonious, it is sacred. The person who is sitting may criticize outside, but when he is sitting in the chair, this is something which is which the opposition benches has to kind of take into cognizance, and therein I think the Congress responsibility is more than the others.
Yes, and this is a very special session also, because 3 Gandhis will be in attendance this time around. Sonia Gandhi and her son and daughter Priyanka Gandhi's parliamentary debut will happen, and it will happen in this session only. So we'll talk about this in just a bit, but before that, a word from Aishwarya Jain, who continues to be with us on that very crucial bill. In fact, now we can see some movement also happen here. We are at Vijay Chowk in the national capital. Some VIP movement will begin any moment. Barricades have been put in, because Prime Minister's cavalcade will be moving. In fact, the cavalcade of union ministers have started going inside Parliament at 10 a.m. sharp is when the Prime Minister is expected. Aishwarya, a word on this crucial bill.
This bill was introduced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman back in August last year, and certainly this will make several changes and an overhaul change in reforms as far as the banking for public is concerned. A huge public interest in this, and the brief given by the Finance Ministry clearly states a few major changes. Of course, this aims to alter the tenures of directors for the cooperative banks as well. This bill will be to expand the provisions for the settlement of unclaimed amounts. They will add, any individual can add nominees for the fixed deposits as well. This bill seeks to improve the audit quality of the public sector banks as well, which was much raised by several opposition MPs in the past as well. That audit is something that needs to be regularized. Changes also proposes to increase the tenure of directors in cooperative banks, excluding the chairperson of whole-time directors, from 8 to 10 years. And this bill will enable banks to attract and retain high-quality audit professionals. A very important one. In fact, The brief also states by the Finance Ministry that this will ensure better protection of depositors and investors as far as the improving quality of the audits is concerned in public sector banks, and increase of tenure of directors other than the whole-time directors in the cooperative bank. So a complete change with the banking sector. Huge public interest in this, and as far as the finance minister is concerned, she stated in the last session as well that these reforms will be just not in the banking sector but in cooperative banks as well, and of course this will be ease of banking, something that government had been looking very, very closely to. This bill will be working towards that.
All right. Thank you, Aishwarya, for getting us that update. Let's also tell our viewers that at 10:30 a.m. is when the core group of the government will happen inside Parliament, which has the Prime Minister chairing it and senior ministers, including Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, also the Parliamentary Affairs Minister in attendance, and also the head of the leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha. But that meeting is around 10:30 a.m. Now a word on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, and for that I'll bring in Pooja Tripathi. I mean, it's a very unique situation when all three Gandhis will be in Parliament. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra won that by-election from Wayanad, a seat which was vacated by her brother with a significant margin. Now you have Rahul Gandhi, MP from Raebareli, and also Sonia Gandhi in the Rajya Sabha. What is it that the Congress is hoping that this troika of the Gandhis will be able to achieve in Parliament?
I think, Mara, we all knew that Priyanka is a gifted orator. Priyanka is somebody who takes head-on Prime Minister Modi and his policy. So we are looking forward to Priyanka's performance in Lok Sabha. We are very excited to have her here after 3 decades of her political campaigning and her political work. She's finally made her political debut. We wish her all the best, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of heated and arguments, and as I said, the aggression level won't go down. But I want to point out, and it's not like that opposition wakes up and they decide, let's go and disrupt the parliament. I was listening to all the discussions here, and when we say that policy and politics are married to each other, opposition, when they, dissent is not defiance in parliamentary proceedings. Right to question, right to criticize, and right to ask accountability is the bedrock of democracy. And it definitely provokes thought, it sparks discussion and makes speculative changes. The whole point of Waqf bill being sent to JPC was because opposition raised a voice. The whole point of IT Amendment Act being called off was because opposition raised a voice. The whole point of LTCG amendments in tax slabs was because opposition raised a voice. So I think it's very, very important. Nobody comes with the idea of, let's
Point very well taken. Point very well taken. Absolutely. Absolutely, Pooja. You know what is being said by analysts here, both Zainab and by Sajjan, is essentially that yes, opposition should seek accountability. That is the role of the opposition, and they are very, very critical, bedrock in a functioning democracy. But can that be seen with great degree of cordiality? How is not letting the House function something that's raising question? That is the point that is being made. But a word on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra from both Zainab and Sajjan. Zainab, all eyes will be on Priyanka Gandhi's debut speech. What will it be? We'll wait and see, but there's no denying that she is a brilliant orator. And what role will she be playing? The fact that both the brother and the sister are in the Lok Sabha. So will they be doing Jugalbandi, complementing each other, something that we saw between, Akhilesh Yadav and Rahul Gandhi, and perhaps now continuing with an addition of Priyanka as well?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, it's going to be extremely interesting to see both the brother-sister duo, because as we've seen in many of their, rallies, they have this sort of chemistry, the perfect sibling chemistry that you can imagine. It's a very loving, funny, naughty one. And of course, I expect professionalism in the parliament and a certain decorum. But yes, they are going to be absolutely a formidable duo to see. Of course, when it comes to the BJP, they can pick on the fact that, look, the entire family is now sitting in the parliament, and the whole point of Parivarvad that they keep talking about. But reality of the matter is that Priyanka Gandhi is a formidable personality. she's very, I mean, everyone knows that at the minute you see her, she'll remind everyone of Indira Gandhi. So the minute you see her in Parliament, it'll also be a very emotional sort of an image, if you come to think of it, which Congress can really cash in on, because her personality within the Parliament, her voice, her look, it is so reminiscent of Indira ji that, it's going to, many people are going to just watch it, and I'm sure her videos will be circulated on social media just because, it is Priyanka Gandhi in Parliament for the first time, and she's a brilliant orator. I can't wait to watch her, speak and take up matters.
And yes, so all of us, Zainab, will be watching and waiting for her to make that debut speech. Because debut speech of any parliamentarian is of great importance and significance.
Precisely, and what a better moment when the women has emerged as the X factor and the game changer.
Absolutely, in election after election.
And Priyanka Gandhi kind of making her debut. And more than that, what is expected of her is the change. Change just within the Congress, but also giving a new direction. And the cordiality is one thing, because Rahul Gandhi has his own persona, has his own way of, tackling the politics and reaching out to others. Priyanka Gandhi is a better orator, compared to Rahul Gandhi. And also in both bilingual English as well as Hindi also. But more than that, what would be expected of Priyanka Gandhi is to address not just the partisan issue of the Congress and the India Alliance, but also how she, in her debut, will she be laying down a new vision for the Congress, for the opposition, and for the parliamentary system also. Because this is the time wherein being a woman,
you can give a new direction, perhaps. That's needed at the moment. It cannot be confrontationist.
That has been the talk for the last 10 years, that with Priyanka, at least in Congress, there has been a subtext that something will change. Now that she is there, it will be the time.
Let's see. Let's wait and watch for this big change that that observers have been waiting for. Thank you so much for joining us, Pooja Tripathi, Zainab, Mr. Sushil Vyas, Sajjan here, and of course Aishwarya Jain. We'll continue with this broadcast. A quick break, and then we return.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
And this is the social media message of the day, and we're talking about Prime Minister Modi, who has posted about his Mann Ki Baat episode in which he spoke about Oman. He's talked about commendable efforts in Oman, which chronicles the experience of Indian families who settled in Oman centuries ago.
Tap it here and swipe it there. Rewards, everywhere.
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn reward with top brand.
Get it free with single ID.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं.
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
Mahayuti में भी इससे ज़्यादा dispute है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
वोट देने वाले ही जिताने वाले हैं ना.
So we worked on 4 options.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps.
And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future.
Welcome back. Now let's just get you the latest from Sambhal in Uttar Pradesh, where 3 people have lost their lives and 30 others. We're talking about police personnel who have been injured in clashes that took place in Uttar Pradesh on Sunday. This is after a survey team that showed up at a mosque in western Uttar Pradesh, Sambhal, to carry out an inspection in line with a local court's direction. Chaos had erupted when that court ordered a survey of the Mughal-era Shahi Jama Masjid, led to violent clashes between the locals and the police. The mosque is at the centre of a contentious legal battle over claims that it was built on the site of a Hindu temple, and the protesters also set some vehicles on fire and pelted stones at the police. My colleague Shubhang has the details.
Brawl ignited on an early Sunday morning when a team of lawyers, advocates, and court commissioner and police personnel reached the Sambhal's Shahi Jama Masjid. Well, as the public got aware about the survey, they started gathering outside the masjid, and later on, around 9:30, first round of stone pelting by the miscreants over the police personnel was done. The survey was conducted around, the survey was complete around 10 a.m. But because of the situation that got tense over there, it was difficult to get the survey team out. But police personnel did that. They took them out safely, and later on, using the gas shells and police force, they overpowered the miscreants, and the situation got normal. Well, till now the situation is under control, but as we know now, because it's a Monday morning now, but 24 hours internet shutdown has been done. The schools have been shut down for today. Well, it is important because there were communal tensions yesterday in the morning. But as of now, the situation is quite under control. The police personnel are in fact deployed at every corner of that masjid area. Well, it is important to also know that the political tensions have been arising, but the situation on the ground seems to be under control now.
Thank you so much, Shubhang, for getting us those details and telling us that there seems to be a sense of calm that has returned to that particular area of Sambhal in Uttar Pradesh. Moving on now, after securing a massive victory in the Maharashtra Assembly polls on Saturday, the partners in the Mahayuti alliance of the BJP, the Shiv Sena, the NCP were holding crucial meetings yesterday amid the discussions over who will be taking charge as the Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra. Now, after Mahayuti's stellar performance in Maharashtra, all eyes are as far as when will that decision come about, and when is the swearing-in ceremony going to take place? From what we're hearing is that the decision could be out as soon as tonight, and the swearing-in ceremony perhaps could take place as early as tomorrow. Now, a series of meetings have taken place yesterday, and it's Eknath Shinde that has been elected as a Shiv Sena leader by his party MLAs. Earlier, Eknath Shinde had received an overwhelming support as far as an event was concerned. This is in regard to the Ladli Behen Yojana, with the women enthusiastically chanting slogans in his favors, clicking selfies with him. Now, it is going to be a tough choice between Eknath Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis, but that choice is going to be made, and that announcement is expected to come about as soon as tomorrow.
The day started with all the three Mahayuti parties holding their own meetings and choosing their own Gattineta, as it is called in Marathi, or the leaders of MLAs in Vidhan Sabha. And it was a formality for all the MLAs to come together and speak in unison. In the morning, we saw that the NCP Ajit Pawar faction came together. And of course, there were a few voices who were willing of having Ajit Pawar as the chief ministerial case. But the NCP faction is well aware of the fact that, the party does not have that kind of an importance in Mahayuti alliance for them to push for their leader to be the chief minister, which makes this competition mostly bipolar between Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde. And Devendra Fadnavis was also holding a meeting at the same time, just a few meters away from Ajit Pawar's bungalow, that is in Sangar. But what happened late at night at Taj Lands Ends Hotel is more interesting, because a meeting was expected to take place there at around 4 to 5 p.m., which was later postponed. It ended up happening at 9:30, where Chief Minister was there with a majority of his MLAs, and a meeting was held. Two things happened there. Firstly, the Chief Minister, Eknath Shinde, he was chosen as the leader of Shinde Shiv Sena in the Vidhan Sabha. And secondly, all of them made it very clear that they want Eknath Shinde as their chief minister. while responding to that, Eknath Shinde was also clear where he said that he is trying his best to get that. Now, these developments become very interesting because, it is entering into the last stage, all of these discussions. All the three leaders are expected to travel to Delhi, and the final validation or the final stamp on the name of the chief minister will eventually be given by the top heads of the NDA, that is Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. But then all these discussions and deliberations which are happening in Maharashtra are also very important.
And switching tracks to its Constitution Day tomorrow, and ahead of that, the government has planned a number of events. Several union ministers were seen participating in the Samvidhan march this morning. Let's take a look.
संविधान यात्रा है। प्रधानमंत्री 2010 में संविधान यात्रा शुरू किया था गुजरात में। अब देश भर में आगे चल रहे हैं। 75 वर्ष पूरा हो जाएंगे इस साल, इसीलिए संविधान यात्रा निकाल रहे हैं।
संविधान को जो हम सब लोगों का स्वाभिमान भी है और भारत के विकास का अधिष्ठान भी है। भारत के हुतात्माओं का, जिन्होंने भारत की आज़ादी के लिए अपने आप को समर्पित किया, उनका सम्मान भी है। तो मेरा संविधान, मेरा स्वाभिमान, मेरा सम्मान और भारत के विकास का अधिष्ठान, उसके 75 साल पूरे होने के इस अवसर पर हम इस युवा शक्ति का सृजन करके भारत को विकसित बनाने के नरेंद्र मोदी के संकल्प को, और जो यात्रा संविधान की उन्होंने आज से अनेक वर्ष पहले गुजरात में प्रारंभ की थी, उस यात्रा को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हम सब एक साथ एकत्रित हुए।
बहुत ही उत्साहित माहौल है। भारत के संविधान के 75 वर्ष इतने जोश से हमारी युवा शक्ति मना रही है। हम सब के लिए गर्व है कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जिस प्रकार से 140 करोड़ देशवासियों को संविधान के साथ जोड़ा है, संविधान के मूल्यों के साथ जोड़ा है।
And today is International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and a pledge for men and boys to respect and protect the women is turning into a movement. The idea is to bring about an attitudinal change. This is among men and boys quite early on in life, and that is what actor Revati is attempting to do. Let's take a look.
And the pledge is very simple. It says, I pledge to oppose all forms of violence against women. I promise to respect, support, and listen to women in my community. Together we can create a world where everyone feels safe and valued. I think that is very important, to be valued. So everybody, every male takes a pledge, and every woman asks their male friends or male companions to take the same pledge. If every man respects and safeguards the women around them in the community, or at least supports them and lets them, gives them the space to speak, automatically the world will become a very safe place. World will become a space where there is gender equality.
And also promote fairness, treat sons and daughters equally in terms of opportunities, discipline and praise. Avoid favoritism or imposing different expectations based on gender. These small, consistent actions can help create a home environment where respect and equality are.
I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
It was the grand launch of NDTV World by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. NDTV World, as he laid out his vision for the India century at the NDTV World Summit.
ऐसी सदी जिसमें भारत के प्रयासों से दुनिया में स्थिरता आए,
in the presence of those who are shaping our future.
मेरी तरफ से आपको ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं हैं।
NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world.
The winter session of Parliament begins. The government has listed 15 bills, including one to amend the Waqf law and 5 new ones for the winter session of Parliament. Ahead of the session, the Speaker reiterates that members must maintain dignity of the House. In fact, in the winter session, the government's focus is on ease of banking. A bill to allow multiple nominees for bank deposits is expected to come up. Opposition huddles ahead of the winter session of Parliament. The India bloc leaders will be meeting, followed by a meeting of Congress MPs at the Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha's chambers. Deliberations and discussions on Maharashtra Chief Minister's elections will continue. The top contenders include Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde. They are likely to reach Delhi today to hold meetings with Amit Shah. Delhi's air quality remains in the poor category at 278. That's where the AQI stands. The Supreme Court is expected to decide on the continuation of GRAP 4 measures. Well, the Nifty and Sensex open higher this Monday morning. Adani stocks trade higher, led by Adani Energy. It's 10 a.m. The winter session of Parliament has begun, and coming on the heels of the NDA's massive victory in Haryana and Maharashtra, this session is likely to see the government on a stronger wicket. But the opposition, though, is expected to raise the Waqf bill as well as the crisis in Manipur. Maria Shakil now joins us from Parliament. It's over to her for the latest updates on the winter session.
Hello viewers, I'm coming to you live from Vijay Chowk near the Parliament of India, very close to the old Parliament building. With me is Aditi Fadnis, a senior journalist, and all eyes will be on what the Prime Minister has to say when at 10:15, 10:30, roughly around that time, he gives his customary sound bite. 11 a.m. is when the winter session of Parliament begins. On government's agenda are crucial legislations. On opposition's agenda are there questions seeking accountability and answers from the government. But first up is a very fascinating bill which is going to come up in this session of Parliament, which is with regards to the Banking Amendment Bill. This bill allows multiple nominees for FDs. It also means that the overall, court cases would go down if the number of nominees are increased. Aishwarya Jain is tracking the story for us. He joins me live. A word on banking bill, Aishwarya, and then we look at other politics around policy.
Well, this bill was introduced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in August last year, and certainly Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in several of the briefings has stated that after this bill will come, there will be several reforms that will be changed. Of course, the brief that we have got from the Finance Ministry states about a bill which seeks to improve the audit quality of the public sector banks as well. Bill also makes changes and intended to improve governance in standards, enhance enhance consistency in banks reporting to the RBI. Also changes proposes to increase the tenure of directors in cooperative banks, excluding the chairperson and the whole-time directors from 8 to 10 years. The nominees for the FDs will be also increased multiple folds. Bill will also enable banks to attract and retain high-quality audit professionals. Certainly, this will also ensure the protection of the depositors and investors, improve audit quality in public sector banks as well. A complete overall change in the banking sector as far as this bill is concerned. Several bills were also introduced and they were pending, and this, of course, in this winter session, we have been told in the tentative list of government's business, 11 bills are there for consideration and passing, and 5 bills are there for the introduction. Amongst the consideration and passing, banking bill is a major one, which today Finance Minister will be tabling in the Lok Sabha.
Okay, and this is crucial from the point of view that issues that are faced by the family members after the death of an account holder, that will be addressed as well if there are multiple nominees. Aditi Fadnis is with us. She is the political editor with Business Standard. Ma'am, how are you looking at this crucial legislation? Of course, the government could have done it with an executive order, but they are going ahead and bringing about amendments in this bill.
The amendments have to be brought because the system of nominees has to be changed. As you know, succession and probate is a very complicated procedure. It requires court hearings, and if you don't have a nominee. And all banks, when you open an account, have lately been encouraging you and in fact forcing you more or less to name nominees, so that if in the unfortunate event of your death, you do have a chain which lays claim to your accounts, whatever sum they may have. Now the number of nominees, so that it's a kind of a modification of the whole system of leaving a will. So you, while you are during your lifetime, can name more than one nominee. Right now you're asked to name only one. Name more than one nominee for the funds that are in your accounts. So directly speaking, for you and me, for ordinary people, this is the most important element in the banking bill.
Yes, so it's a people-friendly bill, and that is the reason why on day one of the winter session, we will be seeing Finance Minister table that legislation in the Lok Sabha. We will try and connect across to Profit in just a bit to get details of how the markets are faring after the victory, a landslide victory of Mahayuti. We have other guests also joining us. Aarti Jairath, senior journalist, is with us. All eyes will also be on Priyanka Gandhi Vadra as she makes her parliamentary debut. Aarti, coming in, when do you expect the first speech of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra?
You know, if you've watched Priyanka Gandhi Vadra over all these years, she has always been very careful not to overshadow her brother. You know, she's always stayed behind him. So I think everything depends on when Rahul Gandhi gives her the signal to speak. And I don't know when that will be. So maybe on a women's issue, that might be the kind of, positioning she would like to give herself, the positioning that Rahul Gandhi would like to give herself. So, so let's see. I mean, but certainly, what I'm waiting to see is how much of fire Rahul Gandhi breathes this time after the losses of the Congress in these last two rounds of elections. And how the BJP is able to I'm sure Rahul Gandhi is going to, breathe fire, but I think the opposition is going to be equally aggressive, unlike what they were during the monsoon session. So that's going to be an interesting kind of tussle to see the way they shut Rahul Gandhi up.
Yes. And how will the sibling chemistry be playing out when both of them are members of parliament now? Of course, will we be seeing more aggression on the part of opposition, or after the debacle in Maharashtra, will there be a subdued opposition? All that and much more we'll be watching out for. But because the markets have opened and this is the first market listing happening after the resounding victory of Mahayuti in Maharashtra, let's bring in Puneet now. Puneet, how are the stocks faring?
Very positively, up about 1.5%. The Sensex is up about 1,100 points today in session. And while the Nifty is also up about 300 points in session today. When you look at the sectoral indices, there are three big sectors that are buzzing in trade today. The Nifty PSU Bank is the first one. It is up about 4.5% and it's led by some stocks such as Indian Bank, UCO Bank, as well as the Central Bank as well. Apart from that, we're seeing the Nifty Oil and Gas Index also buzzing very well today. It's up about 3.5% in trade today, led by stocks such as BPCL, ONGC, as well as IOC. And finally, the third biggest sector is Nifty Realty, where we're seeing stocks such as Godrej Properties buzzing on trade today. So the infrastructure as well as the FMCG stocks were in focus post the election as well. But these three sectors, specifically the PSU Bank, oil and gas, as well as the Realty Index, is seeing very positive market reaction today.
Okay, and what about the overall stocks that we are seeing of Adani Group of Enterprises?
Well, the Adani stocks are definitely buzzing in trade today as well. We have seen, multiple flashes on our channel NDTV Profit as well, where, the cash level to the gross debt is also at around 20%. But overall, most of the stocks are buzzing, where the net debt is also comparatively at a manageable level now, post the pandemic as well. And there are multiple triggers for each of the stocks, Adani Green, Adani Ports, as well as, where they've given guidance for the next 4 to 5 years as well. So overall, most of them are buzzing in trade today and backed by strong fundamental reasons as well. While we are seeing most of them, very active in trade today as well.
All right, thank you so much for joining us for that quick update of the markets. Aditi Fadnis continues to be with us right here. And thank you so much, ma'am. I forgot to thank you by saying that, you made the effort to come all the way to, Parliament, and how the Parliament reporting in itself has changed over the last few months and years. And still you managed to come here. So a word now on what are your expectations and what will you be watching out for as a political journalist from the session, that is the budget session which happened, because that was the first session of the Modi government, 18th Lok Sabha, to now. Things have changed. There has been a Haryana victory and also a Maharashtra victory.
So today, Maria, in the very, very short term, today I don't expect much to happen. There will be obituary references in both houses, and I think no sitting MP has passed away.
Yes.
So the houses will continue after making the obit references. Bills will be introduced. I know that in Rajya Sabha, where I've got the agenda paper, the civil aviation changes in the civil aviation bill in terms of maintenance and import of aircraft and a whole lot of changes which have come actually after almost 3 decades. Those changes will be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. So there will be a debate there. I'm assuming that
the larger power dynamics.
I'm assuming that because of the larger power dynamic, the victory of the ruling coalition in Haryana as well as in Maharashtra, you will have a very strongly vocal treasury benches. But equally, because of the victory in Jharkhand and a general sense that some of the US and Canadian action has impacted badly on India's image abroad and at home. You will have a very strong, very vocal opposition which will insist on answers on many of these issues.
Okay. Rohan Gupta of the BJP joins us. We also have Sujata Paul of the Congress party. Rohan Gupta, is the Treasury bench ready to accommodate and be more of a patient listener to all the concerns of the opposition?
See, absolutely. It is a responsibility of a ruling party to ensure that all the issues are taken up and Parliament functions, and there is some objectivity and some results as far as the sessions are concerned. But at the same time, it is responsibility of opposition parties also to ensure that the functioning is proper. There has to be objectivity in discussion and not just, you just are taking Parliament by storm just for political motive. At the end of the day, people expect a lot from all the parliamentarians, all the political parties, that after the session, there should be some positive outcome for the people. You can disagree with many points, you can oppose the government, you can ask answers, all these things are fine. It is part of democracy. But at the end of the day, the objectivity should be positive. And if that is the case, I think a government is responsible and accountable for all the questions being asked by opposition parties.
Okay, since you have used the word positive approach, is the opposition ready for a positive approach here, Sujata Paul?
Maria, the opposition
Can you positively
is always
raise all the
looking
questions that you wish an answer from the government?
Yes, we need positive answers from the government. The government hasn't answered so many of our questions. And of course, as far as Manipur is concerned, that is still off the radar of the Prime Minister. And that is something that concerns the entire nation today because it is destabilizing the Northeast. In fact, we are seeing some instances happening in Nagaland as well. And therefore, the government really needs to answer. The government needs to answer on a lot of issues, the manner in which the Adani group should be held accountable and why the BJP spokespersons have been working as Adani group's spokesperson is beyond me when they have their own spokespersons. However, the fact is that today is a day when we are starting with the winter session of Parliament, and we will see whether the government, which talks a lot, but when it comes to actually delivering on the ground in Parliament, it's very different because all they can do is attack the opposition rather than give answers. So we will just wait and watch whether they have a positive approach towards the opposition, because we know that the Prime Minister, his favorite pastime and hobby is to attack the opposition.
Okay, so both sides are sounding positive. But Aditi Fadnis and Aarti Jairath, veteran watchers of parliamentary politics. Aarti, what will you be watching out for? Because, you know, the realities of 18th Lok Sabha have changed. Let's not forget that. From the budget session to the winter session, 6 months, and we will be seeing a far more aggressive government as well. Something we saw even in the first session of the 18th Lok Sabha, but perhaps not as much. And both sides being equally aggressive, then how will the parliament function? I mean, there has to be some meeting point, and who will be bringing that meeting point?
I think, Maria, you raised a very valid concern. And despite all the pious statements we've been hearing from party spokespersons on the channel today, I frankly don't see very much happening in Parliament. Because one side will attack, the other side will attack back, then the other side will attack, then the other side will attack back. And so it will go on, like we have seen session after session after session. Yes, certain bills will be passed because bills these days are being passed without discussion. They're being passed in the din. So certain bills will be passed. I don't know what the fate of the Waqf bill will be, whether that will be passed in the din or whether that will, sort of be, I don't know, sort of fall by the wayside. I don't know. But, the unfortunate thing about Parliament is that, communications seem to have really broken down between the opposition and the government. And both sides are now on the attack mode, rather than in, sort of accommodation mode. And I think this is what has happened. This is what is happening in Parliament today, that a Parliament that used to be a forum for discussion has now become a forum for battle.
Okay, so a parliament which was once upon a time a discussion for, good debates. We have heard so many of them, and we used to look forward to parliamentary debates. That platform has now become about aggression, attack, and more of disruptions.
Well, I wouldn't say that. On certain days, at certain times, of course, disruption is a part of parliamentary procedure, and you saw a lot of that in the 1980s and 1990s also. But debates have also been held. It's not that they haven't. and some fantastic speeches have also been made. So this time, I guess all the eyes will be on Priyanka Gandhi's maiden speech.
Yes.
And what she will say, on what she will speak, these are all very carefully chosen, carefully calibrated political moves. They're not just random, you can't just get up and say something.
Yes.
So that's one part of it. It will be her first speech ever as MP. I have heard her speeches. Some of them she has spoken quite well. So let's see what she says. Other speeches to look out for will be the Prime Minister's speech.
Prime Minister's speech, yes.
And also...
And Prime Minister's speech tomorrow, which is Samvidhan Divas, on that day, when he is addressing both the joint session of Parliament.
We do know that there has been a background of
the entire discussion around
the Constitution and the changes that the government is supposed to have brought without actually saying so. And the government's very, very strong defense that we have never tried to change the Constitution to take away the rights of anybody, and we will not do it in the future also.
I think that Constitution debate doesn't mean that it has been settled after the Maharashtra results, because, even in these elections, the Congress did raise it, and Rahul Gandhi was seen flashing that red book, which is the pocketbook of the Constitution of India. Of course, this entire discussion around Constitution, has that been settled in the People's Court electorally when the BJP has won the Maharashtra polls in particular, with the kind of victory margin that they have had? A word now from Aishwarya Jain, if he is continuing to be with us. Aishwarya, I want to understand from you, the opposition and the Treasury benches did speak about a lot of cordiality in the all-party meeting which happened. But the JPC on Waqf, they have completed their report. It is likely to be submitted in this session. Is there going to be a discussion on it? Will it be submitted in the first week itself? That is the week that is starting today?
Well, in fact, yesterday after the all-party meeting, we spoke to Gaurav Gogoi as well. When we asked him that whether Congress will be attending tomorrow's mega event of the government of adoption of 75th anniversary of the Constitution, the answer was that it's not an official stand. Congress has not yet decided that whether they will be attending tomorrow or not. But on the Waqf Amendment Bill, of course, the JPC chairperson Jagdambika Pal has stated that almost all the consultations had been done with 6 ministries, with several stakeholders, with the state Waqf boards as well, and they are ready for the final report, and they are ready to submit it before the House. But very important statement also made by Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju that in case the JPC asks for further extension, then the JPC has to approach the House, because House has earlier decided that the JPC had to submit its report till the last day of the winter session, and if they asked extension, then of course the House will think so and can give the extension. So whether in this session of Parliament as well the Waqf Amendment Bill JPC report will be submitted or not is something that will remains to be seen. But of course, as we are also mentioning about the changes that are being done in different Parliament session, one very important update also coming in as far as Om Birla's initiative is concerned to make Parliament paperless. Today, from today onwards, it will be members of the Parliament who will be given an electronic pen, and they can sign it on their tablets as well to make it efficient for the attendance of the MPs as well, and that will happen from tomorrow. Of course, 4 counters have been kept. The register attendance system will continue in this session, but to make it paperless, this is something an initiative had been taken by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, and that has been welcomed by all the members of the Parliament as well.
Okay. Aishwarya, continue to be with us. I would request all the panelists to be with us. Any moment, Prime Minister is expected to enter the Parliament, and we'll be cutting across to that customary bite. So on that note, let's take a quick break and I'll be back.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Cashback has low, करते नहीं impress. Life would easy, कितना कुछ free, only with single ID. ये भी free, वो भी free, कितना कुछ free, only with single ID. Get it free with single ID. कितने सारे apps हैं मुझसे जुड़े, brands मेरे पास है सबसे बड़े. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Only with single ID. Get it free with single ID.
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn rewards with top brand.
Get it free with single ID.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic
The winter session of Parliament begins. The government has listed 15 bills, including one to amend the Waqf law and 5 new ones for this session. Ahead of the session, though, Speaker reiterates that members must maintain dignity of the House. And in this session, the government's focus is on the ease of banking. A bill to allow multiple nominees for bank deposits is likely to be tabled. The opposition huddles ahead of the winter session. India bloc leaders meet, followed by a meeting of Congress MPs at the Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha's chambers. Deliberations and discussions on Maharashtra Chief Minister's selections will continue. The top contenders, Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde, are likely to reach Delhi today to hold meetings with Amit Shah. Delhi's air quality remains dismal. It's in the poor category with an AQI of 278 as we speak. The Supreme Court will decide on the continuation of GRAP 4 measures. Nifty and Sensex open higher this Monday morning. Adani stocks trade higher, led by Adani Energy.
Prime Minister Modi there entering Parliament for the winter session. He will be giving his customary bite, setting the tone of this session any moment. Simultaneously, there is an important India bloc meeting happening at the residence of Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge.
नमस्कार साथियों, शीतकालीन सत्र है और माहौल भी शीत ही रहेगा। 2024 का ये अंतिम कालखंड चल रहा है। देश पूरे उमंग और उत्साह के साथ 2025 के स्वागत की तैयारी में भी लगा हुआ है। साथियों, संसद का ये सत्र अनेक प्रकार से विशेष है और सबसे बड़ी बात है हमारे संविधान के 75 साल की यात्रा, 75वें साल में उसका प्रवेश, ये अपने आप में लोकतंत्र के लिए एक बहुत ही उज्जवल अवसर है। और कल संविधान सदन में सब मिलकर के इस संविधान के 75वें वर्ष की उसके उत्सव की मिलकर के शुरुआत करेंगे। संविधान निर्माताओं ने संविधान निर्माण करते समय एक एक बिंदु पर बहुत विस्तार से बहस की है और तब जाकर के ऐसा उत्तम दस्तावेज हमें प्राप्त हुआ है। और उसकी एक महत्वपूर्ण इकाई है हमारी संसद। हमारे सांसद भी और हमारी संसद भी पार्लियामेंट में स्वस्थ चर्चा हो, ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग चर्चा में अपना योगदान दें। दुर्भाग्य से कुछ लोगों ने अपने राजनीतिक स्वार्थ के लिए जिनको जनता ने अस्वीकार किया है, वे संसद को भी मुट्ठी भर लोगों के हुड़दंगबाजी से कंट्रोल करने का लगातार प्रयास कर रहे हैं। उनका अपना मकसद तो संसद की गतिविधि को रोकने से ज्यादा सफल नहीं होता है और देश की जनता उनके सारे व्यवहारों को काउंट करती है और जब समय आता है तो सजा भी देती है। लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा पीड़ा की बात यह है कि जो नए सांसद होते हैं, नए विचार, नई ऊर्जा लेकर के आते हैं और ये किसी एक दल में नहीं, सभी दल में आते हैं। उनके अधिकारों को कुछ लोग दबोच देते हैं। सदन में बोलने का उनको अवसर तक नहीं मिलता है। लोकतांत्रिक परंपरा में हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे, लेकिन 80-80, 90-90 बार जनता ने जिनको लगातार नकार दिया है, वे न संसद में चर्चा होने देते हैं, न लोकतंत्र की भावना का सम्मान करते हैं, न ही वह लोगों की आकांक्षाओं का कोई महत्व समझते हैं, उनका उसके प्रति कोई दायित्व है वो कोई समझ पाते हैं। और उसका परिणाम है वो जनता की उम्मीदों पर कभी भी खरे नहीं उतरते हैं और परिणाम स्वरूप जनता को बार बार उनको रिजेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है। साथियों, ये सदन लोकतंत्र की 2024 के पार्लियामेंट के चुनाव के बाद देश की जनता को अपने अपने राज्यों में कुछ स्थानों पर अपनी भावना, अपने विचार, अपनी अपेक्षाएं प्रकट करने का अवसर मिला है। उसमें भी 2024 के लोकसभा के चुनाव के नतीजों को और अधिक ताकत दी गई है राज्यों के द्वारा और अधिक बल प्रदान किया गया है और अधिक समर्थन का व्याप बढ़ा है। और लोकतंत्र की यह शर्त है कि हम जनता जनार्दन की भावनाओं का आदर करें, उनकी आशा अपेक्षाओं पर खरा उतरने के लिए दिन रात मेहनत करें। मैं बार बार खास करके विपक्ष के साथियों से आग्रह करता रहा हूं और कुछ विपक्ष बहुत जिम्मेदारी से व्यवहार करते भी हैं। उनकी भी इच्छा रहती है कि सदन में सुचारू रूप से काम हो, लेकिन लगातार जिनको जनता ने नकार दिया है वे अपने साथियों की बात को भी दबोच देते थे, उनकी भावनाओं का भी अनादर करते हैं, लोकतंत्र की भावनाओं का अनादर करते हैं। मैं आशा करता हूं कि हमारे नए साथियों को अवसर मिले। सभी दल में नए साथी हैं, उनके पास नए विचार है, भारत को आगे ले जाने के लिए नई नई कल्पनाएं हैं। और आज विश्व भारत की तरफ बहुत आशा भरी नजर से देख रहा है, तब हम संसद का समय का उपयोग वैश्विक स्तर पर भी भारत के आज जो सम्मान बढ़ा है, भारत का प्रति जो आकर्षण बढ़ा है, उसको बल प्रदान करने वाला हमारा व्यवहार रहना चाहिए। विश्व के अंदर भारत को ऐसे अवसर बहुत कम मिलते हैं जो आज मिला है और भारत की संसद से वो संदेश भी जाना चाहिए कि भारत के मतदाता उनका लोकतंत्र के प्रति समर्पण, उनका संविधान के प्रति समर्पण, उनका संसदीय कार्य पद्धति पर विश्वास, संसद में बैठे हुए हम सबको जनता जनार्दन की इन भावनाओं पर खरा उतरना ही पड़ेगा। और समय की मांग है, हम अब तक जितना समय गंवा चुके हैं उसका थोड़ा पश्चाताप करें और उसका परिमार्जन करने का उपाय यही है कि हम बहुत ही तंदुरुस्त तरीके से हर विषय के अनेक पहलुओं को संसद भवन में हम उजागर करें, आने वाली पीढ़ियां भी पढ़ेगी उसको, उसमें से प्रेरणा लेगी। मैं आशा करता हूं कि ये सत्र बहुत ही परिणामकारी हो, संविधान के 75वें वर्ष की शान को बढ़ाने वाला हो, भारत की वैश्विक गरिमा को बल देने वाला हो, नए सांसदों को अवसर देने वाला हो, नए विचारों का स्वागत करने वाला हो। इसी भावना के साथ मैं फिर एक बार सभी माननीय सांसदों को उमंग और उत्साह के साथ इस सत्र को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए निमंत्रित करता हूं, स्वागत करता हूं। आप सब साथियों का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
So the Prime Minister there delivering his customary sound bite, where he spoke about healthy debates in Parliament. He also spoke about few people have self-centered agenda as well. The larger questions certainly should be putting the spotlight on the people-centric agenda. He also said that opposition has been rejected by the people multiple times. They should let the parliament function. And he also targeted and questioned the opposition's role in how they are perhaps not in sync with the expectations of people, the larger sentiments of people. Aarti Jairat, Rohan Gupta and Sujata Paul continue to be with us. Aarti, if the tone is anything to believe or to go by, it's very clear that the government will not be giving any elbow room to the opposition. There is a lot of buoyancy on the part of the government, particularly after Maharashtra results.
Absolutely. And this was expected, Maria. I mean, the Maharashtra victory has been so overwhelming and so decisive that it was expected. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, though, how, because I think that the opposition would also like to make its mark. They would like to make up for the fact that, particularly the Congress, I think, would like to make up for the fact that it's been beaten so badly in these elections, because even in Jharkhand, although the alliance won, the Congress's own performance was quite poor. So I think the Congress would like to make up for it by, raising issues to put the government in a spot. And I think at the top of the agenda are various issues like Manipur, the kind of actions that the American government and the Canadian governments have taken, the Waqf bill, and all those issues. And also the recent violence, by the way, in UP. In Sambhal over the mosque. So I think that they would like to raise these issues and try to put the government in a spot. But you can make out from the Prime Minister's tone that the government has no intention of giving them any room, any elbow room, unlike last time when, they were able to do it. I think this time the government is going to stand like a very firm wall, to stop the opposition.
Absolutely. Aarti, look, I mean, in the last 10 years, we did not see a single bill go to the JPC. JPC demand was also by members of alliance of the government itself. So JDU wanted it. So did, LJP. All their alliance partners were asking for it. So was the opposition. And that is the reason why, for the first time in 10 years, that a bill was sent to the JPC. But now it's a changed reality. From the first session of 18th Lok Sabha to now, in 6 months, because of the electoral victories, one after the other, the BJP is certainly entering this session with lot of enthusiasm, and they will not be giving any scope to opposition to try and corner them. That is the big message that is coming in from the Prime Minister in that soundbite. Let's cut across to NDTV Profit and get details on how the markets are doing.
Well, Maria, thanks so much for that. Well, Indian stock markets have rallied this morning. Our NDTV Profit team has been tracking all the details very closely. In fact, I must inform you that the Nifty and Sensex opened more than 1% higher this Monday morning. So the key equity benchmarks traded with strong gains in early trade amid the outcomes of the Maharashtra and Jharkhand elections. Additionally, macroeconomic indicators, including the GDP and infrastructure output, will garner significant attention. But the Nifty and Sensex have opened higher this morning. Meanwhile, Adani Group stocks posted significant gains during morning trade. Adani Energy is leading the rebound, is what the markets say so far. The Adani Group stocks have risen. There's a strong recovery, is what analysts are saying, by the Adani Group companies. And as I mentioned, Adani Energy is leading the rebound as we speak. My colleague Anushi Vakharia joins us from NDTV Profit at the moment. Anushi, now in the past, the Adani Group had announced plans to invest more than 8 lakh crore rupees across portfolio companies in the next 10 years. What's the status? What's the state of affairs at the moment? The stocks are rallying nearly 8% higher.
So for Adani portfolio, let's just break this down in different brackets. Now, first we are seeing about how the EBITDA, about the cash flows, about the debt levels, and what this could mean for the business forward. So firstly, over the last 12 months, we are seeing an EBITDA growth of about 17% to $10 billion, which means strong EBITDA growth levels have sustained over the last 4 quarters that we are looking at. This has translated into the cash flows, also $7 billion of cash flows for the last 12 months, a 30% growth that we've seen in the last 5 years. So growth in cash flows from operation is strong and has also sustained, as we've mentioned about EBITDA. So net debt to EBITDA now, if you look at, that has remained in the 2.46 times, which is lower than what the company has given its guidance for. So this suggests reasonable levels for asset-heavy infra companies. That is what we are looking at for. Liquidity position also across the portfolio companies remains strong, with sufficient funds to cover all the debt repayments within the next 12 months that we are looking at. So healthy liquidity to cover the debt repayments. Now, these debt is to be repaid for each year until FY34 is less than the cash flow for the last 12 months. This means that even current cash flows are assuming no growth at these levels should be sufficient enough to cover all these debt payments that we are looking at. Asset base, if we look at, that has increased by $9 billion to $60 billion in H1 FY25. That's the first half of fiscal year 25. During the same period, gross debt has increased by over $2 billion. So we are seeing a significant increase in asset base as compared to the debt levels. So 80% of this base is funded through internally and not through debt also that we are looking at. Equity now counts for about 63% of total debt, showing about lower dependence on debt that we are looking at. Now, if you are to see the exposure to the Indian banks, at USD $11 billion, this is 42% of today's debt. So companies have cash of about $6 billion, most of which is parked with Indian banks. So this means net exposure to Indian banks is much lower than what is perceived in the market, since more than 50% of the debt is cash lying in the Indian banks. So this is the overall update that we are looking for the Adani portfolio.
Thanks, Anushi, for joining us with that update. The Adani Group has touted the financial and credit details of its portfolio companies to investors, as Anushi has just highlighted for you, showcasing its robust profits and cash flows that can sustain growth without reliance on external debt. With that, let's get you all the Parliament action. The winter session has kick-started. Well, Maria Shakil joins you with the lowdown outside Parliament.
Thank you. Thank you, Parma, for getting us all the latest from the market there. But that excitement in Adani portfolio is certainly visible. Markets overall cheering the Mahayuti victory in Maharashtra polls. What happens inside Parliament? Will the opposition realize that when it comes to the people's mandate, they have much to really think and introspect about? Today, even as we speak, there are 2 crucial meetings happening inside Parliament. In Mallikarjun Kharge's chamber, the entire India bloc is meeting. and there is also a core group of ministers meeting which is happening inside Parliament, being chaired by the Prime Minister, something which has been almost a tradition of sorts, which has been happening. What we are being also told that the BJP MPs are likely to give a huge welcome and applause to the Prime Minister when he enters the Lok Sabha. So let's wait and see when the House, opens up at 11 a.m. But crucial bills lined up. The opposition is sending a message that they are going to corner the government. The government says the opposition should be aware of the sentiments of the people, and these elections are an indication of how the people of India are thinking. First Haryana and now Maharashtra, two states which have given an overwhelming majority to the BJP and its alliance partner, that is Mahayuti in Maharashtra, and a complete landslide to the BJP in the state of Haryana. So the realities of Parliament has changed as well. Sujata Paul continues to be with us. We also have Rohan Gupta. Sujata, the message from the People's Court should also be read. Is the message that is coming in from the Prime Minister?
First of all, there is a message from Jharkhand as well. And the Prime Minister, when he talks about the responsibility of the opposition, he forgets that the responsibility of running the Parliament is the responsibility of the government. And they have failed miserably at that. And you yourself mentioned that in the last 10 years, no bills were sent to the JPC. And of course, we saw a spate of ordinances in the last 10 years, and make no mistake, the opposition is not going to be yielding. But when he was talking, he spoke about Janta Janardan ki bhavna ka aadar karna chahiye, because there are people from outside watching, and paschatap karna chahiye. Now look at the language that he's using, and he's using this particular platform to target the opposition outside Parliament. He should be saying all this inside Parliament if he really wants to. But the fact is that our Parliament is for our country. He might think that he is the Vishwa Guru, but as far as the country is concerned, the issues of the country are going to be discussed inside Parliament. But the Prime Minister definitely does not want to do that.
I'm of the opinion the issues of the people, Sujata, issues of the people should be raised inside Parliament. And that's what I got a sense also from the Prime Minister's customary soundbite, because where he said clearly that, the issues should be concerning people. And one of the bills which have been listed in the Lok Sabha today is a people-centric bill. Rohan Gupta, a word from you, and then we wrap up this segment and wait for the Lok Sabha to begin.
See, if opposition can find negativity and want PM spoke now, I think we know how the Parliament is going to run. See, Malay, we have to understand that, as you rightly told, what is the pulse of people? What does people want from the opposition? I think opposition has completely forgotten that. They have completely lost the pulse of people. Yes, you can definitely question government, but you cannot dictate the government. This is the way you have to perform. Number one, you are playing at the hands of foreign forces. You can definitely question the government, but the way opposition party did press conference against in Adani issue against the government, that is wrong. It is for Adani to answer what has happened. Let the law take its own course. But you have completely lost the agenda of the people when you are opposing Waqf Amendment Bill. It means that new secularism for opposition parties appeasement. That is where people are against them. You need to understand, when you are in Parliament, you have to take issues of the people. You cannot play at the hands of the foreign forces. That is a clear-cut message. Number one. Number two, what PM told is you have to show the positivity. I am there to listen to your issues. But if you dictate the Prime Minister or BJP, that is not going to happen. It is your responsibility to raise the issues. Let us do debates. Let us discuss the issues. Let us find out the outcome. But questioning the government just for the sake of political motive, people are not liking that. And what PM rightly said, you need to give respect to the mandate of the people. I am not questioning whether Jharkhand or Maharashtra, what does people want? There has to be objectivity. But when you question bills like Waqf Amendment Bill because of your appeasement politics, when you question bill like UCC because of your appeasement politics, people are not going to accept it. Definitely you question government on Adani issue. But there has to be
UCC is not listed, so it's unlikely that UCC is coming. But one thing is becoming clear. I get your point. I get your point. I've heard also from Sujata. Early morning.
But Maria.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Maria,
not 1 minute.
Yeah. But the BJP spokesperson is talking about the amendment bills and saying that you don't question. So what kind of, argument is that? You don't want any questions to be raised in Parliament. What is the Parliament for? Tell the government to just implement whatever they want. If there is a Parliament, there will be discussion, Rohan Gupta. You cannot say
The JPC has held the discussion. Let's put the... Okay, all right. Rohan Gupta, Sujata Paul. Early morning, no slugfest, please. Early morning, no slugfest, please. That's not how NDTV looks like. Early morning, especially. We are looking at the Parliament session, which is going to begin any moment now. But Aarti Jairath, as a veteran Parliament reporter, we have heard from the Prime Minister, the tone and tenor is very clear shift in the last 6 months, particularly because of the results of Haryana and Maharashtra. And now we'll be watching out for what is day one of winter session looking like. A quick word on that, Aarti. Do you think opposition will be a little subdued, particularly after Maharashtra debacle? Or no?
I doubt it, Maria. I really very much doubt it. I think the opposition has points to score. Just like the, ruling benches have points to score. So I'm afraid that, all these hopes of having a discussion, raising people's issues, letting new members speak, I really think that all those hopes are not going to happen. And let's see now, the opposition is not even clear about whether they're going to attend tomorrow's Constitution Day function, which I think is very sad because, it is a day to actually honor the Constitution and to, reaffirm our allegiance to it. And I would expect that the opposition should participate in the event. It's a very good thing, and it's a very good thing that the BJP is also reaffirming its allegiance to the Constitution, because in the past there have been these doubts about them wanting to review it, rewrite it, and so on and so forth. So, I would think that, I really don't see any kind of meeting ground, but it should start with tomorrow, with the Constitution Day function, with both sides coming together to reaffirm their
Constitution Day.
Constitution of India.
Yes. All right, Aarti Jairath, pleasure having you on the show this morning. And thank you to Rohan Gupta and Sujata Paul as well. We are slipping into a short break. 11 a.m. is when the Parliament functioning begins. We'll be cutting across to the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro. World's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con, NDTV initiative for cyber safety. Only on NDTV 24/7.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं.
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
महायुति में भी इससे ज़्यादा dispute है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
वोट देने वाले ही जिताने वाले हैं ना.
So we worked on 4 options.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get
A very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7 and the Parliament session has begun, and live shots coming on your screens right now of the Parliament session that's begun today and will continue till the 20th of December. And this is resulting in the Nifty and the Sensex, the markets turning positive as well. Let's just first get you the headlines. So the Nifty and the Sensex, the markets are up this morning and they've turned positive on a monthly basis as they trade nearly 2% up. And there's a surge in the Adani Group stocks with a strong recovery by the Adani Group. And the Adani Group has gone on to say that there's growth without debt, and it is stable as far as the last 12 months of the growth is concerned, and that they've grown 17%. And the winter session of the Parliament begins with the Prime Minister targeting the opposition ahead of the Parliament session, saying that people have rejected the opposition multiple times. The opposition not in sync with what the expectations of the people are, is what Prime Minister Modi said in his address just before the starting of the Parliament session. And opposition huddles ahead of the Parliament session with the India bloc leaders to push for debates as far as the Manipur issue, the Waqf bill, and even on the pollution in the national capital. Those are the issues that will be taken up during the winter session. And the government focus as far as the ease of banking bill is concerned to allow multiple nominees for bank deposits. That is going to be the key focus as far as the winter session is concerned. And deliberation and discussions on the Maharashtra's Chief Minister's selection that continues, and top contenders are Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde that are likely to reach Delhi today in order to hold meetings with Amit Shah. And Delhi's air quality stays under 300 points, just a little under that at 278. However, there are certain pockets of Delhi where the pollution is completely out of hand, and it is the decision of the Supreme Court that's expected today. As far as the GRAP-4 measures are concerned, will they continue or will they be revoked is the big question. And the winter session of the Parliament has started, and during which 3 key bills are scheduled. The winter session is expected to continue till the 20th of December. And in this session, the Waqf Amendment Bill and the Disaster Management Bill is among the bills that are likely to be considered for discussion. We have my colleague Maria joining us from right outside the Parliament. Maria, the Prime Minister there addressing the nation ahead of the Parliament session, saying that it's been 75 years since we adopted the Constitution, and he's hoping for a healthy debate and participation and contribution from the maximum members of the Parliament, urging people, to have a very peaceful session this time around.
Yes, that's right. And during that customary bite, he also had a message for the opposition that they are disconnected with what is the pulse of the people or the larger sentiments of people because of the election results. Of course, that great, enthusiasm or buoyancy, as we say, in his tone was because of the sweeping victory that the BJP-led Mahayuti has had in the Maharashtra polls. And before that also was a landslide victory in Haryana. So two states which have gone in favor of the BJP, very crucial states, which gives the BJP the reason that perhaps the Lok Sabha results where they were below 272 at 240, they needed allies in Nitish Kumar's JDU and TDP was an aberration. And the truth is that Prime Minister Modi's personal appeal remains intact and the BJP remains the party which is being favored by the people of India. But having said that, about the bills that you spoke about, one of the bills is also a very people-centric bill, which has to do with increasing the number of nominees in the FDs that individual does. Remember, there has been a lot of court cases and succession battles which have played out when an individual dies without having one or two a number of nominees. That is going to be settled with the bill which is going to be introduced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the Lok Sabha today, which has to do with amendments to the banking laws. So that's a crucial bill. We'll be putting a spotlight on it, but all eyes will be on what the Prime Minister has to say tomorrow, because tomorrow is the Sambhal Divas. BJP and the entire government is celebrating it with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. We have seen a lot of press conferences which will be addressed today as well. So first, let's listen in to what the Prime Minister said before entering the Lok Sabha.
हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे, लेकिन 80-80, 90-90 बार जनता ने जिनको लगातार नकार दिया है, वे न संसद में चर्चा होने देते हैं, न लोकतंत्र की भावना का सम्मान करते हैं, न ही वह लोगों की आकांक्षाओं का कोई महत्व समझते हैं, उनका उसके प्रति कोई दायित्व है वो कोई समझ पाते हैं, और उसका परिणाम है वो जनता की उम्मीदों पर कभी भी खरे नहीं उतरते हैं और परिणाम स्वरूप जनता को बार बार उनको रिजेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है।
देखिए, दो महत्वपूर्ण बातें हैं। ये पहला दिन था
Lok Sabha being adjourned till 12 p.m. One would say on expected lines. But tomorrow is crucial because tomorrow is the Sambhal Divas and Prime Minister Modi will be addressing the joint session of Parliament which will be happening in the old Parliament building. The Parliament of India has witnessed several historic debates and tomorrow will be one such occasion where we will be hearing all political parties, and whether the opposition will participate in it or not is still not clear. But one thing is clear, that the government and BJP in particular is trying to bring the constitution debate back into its own domain. Something that did cost them a number of seats in the Lok Sabha polls because the opposition built that narrative that the government of the day has compromised the constitution and institutions which are governed by the constitution. Okay, we'll be cutting across to Nitin Gadkari now, Union Minister, who is addressing a press conference in Nagpur.
ऐसे गायक, वादक, नर्तक, अभिनेते, कवि, आध्यात्मिक गुरु, इनको सबको हमने आमंत्रित किया है और उद्देश्य मनोरंजन तो है ही, पर मनोरंजन से ज़्यादा लोक प्रबोधन कैसे हो, हमारा इतिहास, संस्कृति, विरासत सब लोगों के सामने कैसे आए, ये कोशिश थी और इसलिए मनोरंजक, वैचारिक उद्बोधन पर, देशभक्ति पर, धार्मिक, आध्यात्मिक ऐसे अलग अलग कार्यक्रमों का आयोजन हुआ। कला, संस्कृति, परंपरा, साहित्य, इसमें तो इसका सबका संगम था ही, पर इसमें संगीत, नृत्य, नाट्य, वादन, गायन, कीर्तन, प्रवचन, कवि सम्मेलन और लोक कला का संगम था। और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज अगर कोई थी, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है कि बाल कलाकार, महिला, युवक, ज्येष्ठ नागरिक, हमने ट्रांसजेंडर का भी एक बड़ा कार्यक्रम किया था, दिव्यांग, आदिवासी, ऐसे सभी कलाकारों को हमने कार्यक्रम के द्वारा उनका सहयोग किया था। अभी तक इसमें 18,000 स्थानिक, राष्ट्रीय, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कलाकारों ने अपनी कला प्रेजेंट की है और करीब डायरेक्ट और इनडायरेक्ट रोज 4 से 4.5 लोग इसका आनंद लेते हैं और सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से पूरे विश्व में ये कार्यक्रम पहुंचता है और बाद में साल भर भी लोग कार्यक्रमों को देखते रहते हैं। आदरणीय श्री श्री रविशंकर जी, सदगुरु चक्की वासुदेव जी, गौर गोपाल दास, डॉक्टर पूज्य ज्ञानेश्वर स्वामी, सतपाल महाराज, इनके सत्संग का भी सबने बहुत अच्छा फायदा लिया है। विशेष रूप से हमारे बॉलीवुड में जो लोकप्रिय कलाकार हैं, सलमान खान, अमित कपूर, जॉकी श्रॉफ, संजय दत्त, नाना पाटेकर, अभिनेत्री और नृत्यांगना हेमा मालिनी, इनका तो हर साल कहीं ना कहीं सब लोगों ने आकर इसको और अच्छी तरह इसका वैभव बढ़ाया है। जो इंटरनेशनल लेवल के गायक थे, शंकर महादेवन, हरिदेवन, हरिहर, कविता कृष्णमूर्ति, श्रेया घोषाल, पॉप सिंगर विकास सिंह, अमित त्रिवेदी, मोहित चौहान, सुखविंदर सिंह, कैलाश के, नाम स्वामी, पीयूष मिश्रा, ये संगीतकार की जोड़ी सचिन परंपरा, मनोज तिवारी, अक्षरा सिंह, भोजपुरी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के और ताल।
Right, of course, also as far as the state of Maharashtra is concerned, that meetings after meetings that are taking place in order to decide as to who will become the next chief minister of the state after that victory that took place on Saturday. The BJP batting for Devendra Fadnavis as the next chief minister, as the Mahayuti leaders that are going to be travelling to Delhi today, that includes Eknath Shinde as well as Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar to meet with the Home Minister Amit Shah. It's Ajit Pawar who is going to be supporting Fadnavis for the seat of the chief minister, is what we're hearing from our sources, and their discussions that are carrying on as far as the chief minister's face is concerned. Do remember, this was a decision they had said that once the results are out, is only then they'll make this decision as to who will be the chief minister. Ajit Pawar there backing Fadnavis for the seat of the chief minister. BJP leaders pitching for Devendra Fadnavis. Do remember that right now we don't know whether it'll be Devendra Fadnavis or it'll be Eknath Shinde back in the role of the chief minister. That decision that's going to come about as early as tonight, and perhaps when the oath-taking ceremony could perhaps take place tomorrow, is what we're hearing from our sources. So there's a lot of deliberation that's likely, to continue as far as the chief minister's role is concerned, and there could be, a chief minister on rotation. That could be something that they might be considering, given the fact that it's happened in the past, that perhaps for a year and a half or two, have one person in that role and then followed by the other. And of course, the top contenders, like we do know, are of course Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde. So it is there are meetings that are taking place, and both these leaders along with Ajit Pawar are expected to be here in the national capital to have that final meeting with Home Minister, and that is when they will discuss as to, and that announcement that could come about as soon as tonight as to who will be taking on the role of the chief minister. Decision that wasn't taken earlier. They were asked many a times as to who's the front runner as far as the alliance is concerned. But this is a decision they said that they will not take up until the time they win the elections, or up until the time the results are out. As far as the assembly elections of the state is concerned, there you can see Eknath Shinde there. Also, from what we're hearing is that all of them backing Devendra Fadnavis for now. So Devendra Fadnavis could be taking on the role of the chief minister of the state of Maharashtra. This after many meetings that have taken place as of yesterday, meetings on meetings in order to discuss as to who could be in that role of the chief minister. So is it going to be one chief minister, or the chief minister is going to be on rotation, is the big question. who can be. Of course, it will be one of these two is what we are hearing from our sources. And something that, the alliance is keeping close to its chest at the moment, from what we are really hearing, is that it is Devendra Fadnavis who seems to be getting the support and backing of Ajit Pawar as well. And this is something that we're hearing as well as Eknath Shinde, who seems to be batting also for, this is something that we just have to wait and watch as to who will then finally emerge as the Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra. So it is Shiv Sena saying that Shinde's welfare schemes, they've been the reason why they've won with such a huge majority. This is the reason why the key factor when it comes to the winning the assembly elections as far as Maharashtra is concerned. So there are deliberations that are going on within the alliance in order to finally come up with that announcement, an announcement that everyone is waiting to know as to who will now finally emerge as the Chief Minister. Will there be one Chief Minister or will there be two Chief Ministers, those two top contenders in rotation? So a very crucial meeting that's coming up here in the national capital, and this crucial meeting that is going to be regarding the government formation as to who is going to be the leader of this alliance in that landslide victory as far as the Mahayuti alliance is concerned, that have gone ahead and secured 235 of the 288 seats in the Maharashtra assembly elections. The Maha Vikas Aghadi, the opposition bloc, which comprises of the Congress, the Shiv Sena and the NCP, they won only 49 seats. The BJP won 131 seats that they contested in, with the Shiv Sena and the NCP winning 57 and 41 seats for the NCP in the assembly elections. So at the moment, of course, discussions that continue in regard to will it be Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis taking on the role of the Chief Minister, or will it be Eknath Shinde back in the role of the Chief Minister for a second term, is the question that everyone is asking, the question on everyone's mind. It is Mr. Fadnavis and other leaders who were welcomed by Nitin Gadkari, of course. It is a meeting that's going to be held today in the national capital by Home Minister Amit Shah, who will then finally be taking that decision. Of course, from what we are hearing at the moment is that it is Ajit Pawar who's completely backing the idea of Devendra Fadnavis taking on that very role of the Chief Minister. Radhika joining us. Radhika, what are you hearing from your sources? What's the very latest? Is there, we do know who the two top contenders are. Could it be one of the two or may perhaps both in rotation?
That's right. A lot of deliberations and discussions going on as far as Chief Ministerial post is concerned. Yes, they are considering a rotational post, but not entirely certain if that will be agreed upon by all the party leaders and members. We know for a fact that all three parties held individual party meetings yesterday. Eknath Shinde was chosen as the legislative party leader. Ajit Pawar also chosen as the legislative party leader of the NCP. And today, of course, Fadnavis will be chosen as the legislative party leader of BJP. However, who is going to be the Chief Minister is the next big question. We know for a fact that Devendra Fadnavis wields a lot of influence. He's instrumental in the kind of victory that BJP saw. Few numbers short of a majority, and he'd been the brain behind several of the schemes as well. At the same time, Eknath Shinde, a grassroots level leader, wields a lot of influence in both rural and urban pockets, again being credited for Ladki Behan scheme and several such schemes. So therefore, both are the front runners at this point. But what we are hearing is that Ajit Pawar is in support of Devendra Fadnavis being the Chief Minister. There is a possibility that there could be a joint meeting of all three leaders with Amit Shah, perhaps today or tomorrow. So there will be some sort of consensus reached, but all the party leaders are denying any sort of rifts, bickering or disputes as far as Chief Ministerial post is concerned. They say discussions and meetings are going on to come to some sort of understanding. Will it be Eknath Shinde? Will he retain the position, or will Devendra Fadnavis, who has been given the credit for Mahayuti's victory, once again take over as the Chief Minister, or will it be on a rotational basis? All this will become clear in a day or two.
Right, of course, Devendra Fadnavis, who had taken on the role of the Deputy Chief Minister in the previous term. Take us to the role that Ajit Pawar plays as to who will finally then emerge as the Chief Minister.
As far as Ajit Pawar's role is concerned, it is very instrumental, of course, because in case there is some sort of bickering or dispute, we know for a fact that BJP is just a few numbers short of majority. So they clearly don't need both the parties in order to form the government. I mean, this is of course the extreme scenario. So if it's just BJP and NCP, they could still form the government without the help of Sena, if Sena is adamant that they want a chief ministerial post. Again, I'm talking about an extreme scenario. In that case, Ajit Pawar's role will become instrumental. If he supports Devendra Fadnavis as the chief minister, then a government can be formed with the help of Ajit Pawar's leaders. And all three parties have performed exceedingly well in terms of strike rate, in terms of the number of winning candidates and so on. So yes, Ajit Pawar's role is very, very critical in this juncture. We also know for a fact that he may not be vying for chief ministerial post at this point because front runner certainly is Devendra Fadnavis and then of course Eknath Shinde. They've been credited for Ladki Bahan scheme, all the infrastructure development schemes and several other guarantees promised and implemented by Mahayuti Sarkar. But Ajit Pawar, at this point, what we are given to understand is backing Devendra Fadnavis as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. And we're seeing posters all around. There are Sena posters, which is putting Eknath Shinde in the top post. And there are posters that have come up, not just in Mumbai, but also in, Nagpur, which is, Fadnavis's a place with posters of him being touted as the next chief minister. How things will pan out? Will they come to an understanding? Because we know that Eknath Shinde, through way of sources, we are getting to understand that Eknath Shinde is not ready to step down, not ready to sort of vacate that position as yet. So,
Radhika, just hold that thought. We have breaking news coming in at the moment.
It will take a day or two before the decision is.
And the opposition MPs have written to the Lok Sabha Speaker. They are seeking more time, is what we are hearing. This is the breaking news coming in. They need more consultation as far as their stakeholders are concerned. And we have my colleague Maria joining us to get us more on this. Maria, take us through this breaking news of the opposition MPs writing to the Lok Sabha Speaker.
Yes, that's right. So they have sought an extension of the joint working committee, which is the JPC on Work Amendment Bill. It is said in that letter that the committee has held only 25 sittings, and that has included evidence presentations by various organizations and individuals, and they would need more time because it requires more expansive, consultations. And a mere 3 months time before the report is finalized is not only inadequate, is what they are saying, but may result in improper recommendations. And that is the reason why they are saying that in order for proper consultations and deliberations, the committee's tenure must be extended by a reasonable time. Is the chairman of this committee, who is Mr. Jagdambika Pal, in sync with this? That remains to be seen, but opposition MPs certainly seeking more time. They are of the opinion that this is a very crucial legislation which requires far more consultation, and because this changes in this will affect large sections of Indian population.
Right. Thank you so much, Maria, for getting us all those details in regard to the opposition MPs. They're writing to the Lok Sabha demanding and seeking actually more time in order to consult their stakeholders in this is in regard to this breaking news that has just come in. Switching tracks now to another issue that's going to be taken up as far as the Parliament session is concerned is the air pollution here in the national capital. That is something that the opposition is going to be taking up. But today it is the Supreme Court that will decide whether to continue or not with the emergency measures that are in place. And we're talking about GRAP 4 measures, the Graded Response Action Plan 4 measures that are in place as far as Delhi is concerned. We have my colleague Sunil Prabhu joining us. Sunil, of course, it is the Supreme Court that had, last time around said that it will be the Supreme Court that will decide whether these measures will stay in place and for how long these measures will stay in place. What can we expect from court today?
Well, the things that you can definitely expect is the fact that the Supreme Court is looking at lifting those emergency measures. The situation definitely has improved. The CAQM has also recommended it to be gradually brought down. And it's in that backdrop that, the Supreme Court has made it clear that they will look at those aspects. There is a fluctuation in some areas where it is very severe. In some places, it's poor, very poor, and we are happy with poor or very poor grades in terms of in New Delhi, because that's the kind of level the air quality is at this present juncture. So it's in this backdrop that the Supreme Court will hear and take a final call on this matter. Also, that there have been 13, court commissioners who were appointed to look at various entry points, the kind of monitoring that is taking place with trucks and vehicles coming into the city. So all that will be reviewed. Apart from, of course, at a later stage, they'll look at other issues. For example, the permanent ban on crackers, the stubble burning, and various other factors. But at present, the emergency measures, whether it should be lifted, which is most likely, so we can expect some kind of relief, but we'll wait for the Supreme Court to hear this matter in a few days.
Right. Sunil, the big question is, are we going to go back into the gas chamber, given the fact that this is perhaps on accord of those measures, coupled with the fact that the weather has, sort of improved in terms of whether the sun coming out or the winds picking up speed, etc. And of course, this is an issue that's going to be taken up in the parliament as well. Let's listen into what Ranjit Ranjan had to say.
400, 500, 600 जो AQI है, एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स है, हम दिल्ली में जहरीली सांस ले रहे हैं, जहरीला खाना खा रहे हैं और काम कर रहे हैं, पैसा कमा रहे हैं, लेकिन बदले में हम अपने आप को जहर दे रहे हैं, अस्थमा दे रहे हैं, बीमारियां दे रहे हैं. तो ये बहुत गंभीर विषय है और हम सब चाहते हैं कि इस विषय पर चर्चा ही नहीं हो, पॉलिटिकल विल होना चाहिए. मुझे लगता है कि अपने देश को एयर पोल्यूशन से बचाना बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है.
And with that, of course, our fight for pollution will continue on NDTV. We will keep tracking that story and getting you the very latest. For now, we're slipping into a very short break.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro. World's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con, NDTV initiative for cyber safety. Only on NDTV 24/7.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं.
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
महायुति में भी इससे ज़्यादा डिस्प्यूट है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
वोट देने वाले ही जिताने वाले हैं ना.
So we worked on 4 options.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both.
Welcome back. Let's get you the very latest, and this is from the markets that are up. The Indian stock markets that rallied this morning on 2 consecutive days of gains, whether it's the Nifty and the Sensex, that's helped them turn positive on a monthly basis. This comes after both the Nifty and the Sensex recorded losses in the month of October. So the Indian stock markets rallied this morning after the BJP-led NDA secured that massive victory in the assembly elections in Maharashtra, which houses the country's financial capital, Mumbai. All 13 major sectors logged gains, and the broader, more domestically focused small and mid caps rose about 2% each. Adani Group stocks also posted a significant gain during the morning trade. We're talking about the Adani Energy leading the rebound. As far as the Adani Group stocks, they have surged. A strong recovery by the Adani Group companies, and there is Adani Energy that is leading the rebound, as well as from what most of the Adani Group stocks rose at open, with Adani Energy and Adani Green rising the most. And the Adani Group of companies touted the financial and credit details of its portfolio companies to investors, showcasing its robust profits and cash flows that can sustain growth without reliance on external debt. Equity now accounts for almost 2/3 of its total asset creation, a stark contrast to 5 years ago. And in the past 6 months, the group invested close to 75,227 crore rupees against a total debt increase of only 16,882 crore rupees. And my colleague Anushi has all the details.
So for Adani portfolio, let's just break this down in different brackets. Now, first we are seeing about how the EBITDA, about the cash flows, about the debt levels, and what this could mean for the business forward. So firstly, over the last 12 months, we are seeing an EBITDA growth of about 17% to $10 billion, which means strong EBITDA growth levels have sustained over the last 4 quarters that we are looking at. This has translated into the cash flows also, $7 billion of cash flows for the last 12 months, a 30% growth that we've seen in the last 5 5 years. So growth in cash flows from operation is strong and has also sustained, as we've mentioned about EBITDA. So net debt to EBITDA now, if you look at, that has remained in the 2.46 times, which is lower than what the company has given its guidance for. So this suggests reasonable levels for asset-heavy infra companies. That is what we are looking at for. Liquidity position also across the portfolio companies remains strong with sufficient funds to cover all the debt repayments within the next 12 months that we are looking at. So healthy liquidity to cover the debt repayments. Now these debt is to be repaid for each year until FY34 is less than the cash flow for the last 12 months. This means that even current cash flows are assuming no growth at these levels should be sufficient enough to cover all these debt payments that we are looking at. Asset base, if we look at, that has increased by $9 billion to $60 billion in H1 FY25. That's the first half of fiscal year 25. During the same period, gross debt has increased by over $2 billion. So we are seeing a significant increase in asset base as compared to the debt levels. So 80% of this base is funded through internally and not through debt also that we are looking at. Equity now counts for about 63% of total debt, showing about lower dependence on debt that we are looking at. Now, if you are to see the exposure to the Indian banks, at USD $11 billion, this is 42% of today's debt. So companies have cash of about $6 billion, most of which is parked with Indian banks. So this means net exposure to Indian banks is much lower than what is perceived in the market, since more than 50% of the debt is cash lying in the Indian banks. So this is the overall update that we are looking for the Adani portfolio.
And it's the winter session of the Parliament that started early this morning, during which 3 key bills are scheduled. Of course, at the moment, both houses of the Parliament are adjourned till about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The winter session will continue till the 20th of December. In this session, the Waqf Amendment Bill and the Disaster Management Amendment Bill is among the bills that are likely to be considered for discussion. It is the opposition that has, in fact, written to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha asking for more time. That is, they are seeking more time because they require more time on the matter. And just ahead of the winter session, it was the Parliament. It was the Prime Minister who addressed the nation ahead of the Parliament winter session. He went on to say that it's been 75 years since we adopted the Constitution. He's also urged everyone, and he's hoping for healthy debates and participation as well as contribution from maximum members of both the houses. The Prime Minister has also attacked the opposition in his address ahead of the beginning of that winter session, saying that they are blinded by self-centered agenda, hitting out at the opposition, saying that they are not in sync with what the expectations of the people really are. Let's listen in.
हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे, लेकिन 80-80, 90-90 बार जनता ने जिनको लगातार नकार दिया है, वे न संसद में चर्चा होने देते हैं, न लोकतंत्र की भावना का सम्मान करते हैं, न ही वो लोगों की आकांक्षाओं का कोई महत्व समझते हैं, उनका उसके प्रति कोई दायित्व है वो कोई समझ पाते हैं, और उसका परिणाम है वो जनता की उम्मीदों पर कभी भी खरे नहीं उतरते हैं, और परिणाम स्वरूप जनता को बार बार उनको रिजेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है.
Right, and of course, during this session and the Prime Minister's jibe at the opposition is concerned, well, it is the opposition that are saying, that's gone on to say that it's the latest poll results are not a referendum, and that the opposition also wants the smooth functioning as far as the Parliament session is concerned. But also Karti Chidambaram pointing out that the recent results are not really a national trend, and it's the BJP that won a few states. But Karti Chidambaram has gone on to say that even the Congress party has. Let's listen in.
Well, joining with me, Senior Congress Leader Karti Chidambaram. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us. Prime Minister, on the first day of the winter session of Parliament, stressed upon the smooth functioning of Parliament. He stated that some people are self-centric and they want to stall the Parliament. How do you respond?
I agree with the Prime Minister. We must have smooth running of Parliament, but in Parliament also, the opposition must also have the space to raise issues of national concern. While we give adjournment motions, not one adjournment motion is admitted. So if the government, while it has its number members must allow the opposition to have its say while they can have their way. But you must give us space also to raise issues of importance which we deem fit.
So he attacked the Congress party as well. He stated that now 70-80 times the Congress leadership had been defeated. It is now new people who wanted to bring their discussions in the parliament. They should be given space.
See, if the Prime Minister is alluding to the results of a day before yesterday, I hope he noticed the results in Jharkhand, and hope he noticed the results of the by-elections in Karnataka, and hope he noted the results of the by-elections in Madhya Pradesh. It's been a mixed bag. We have won some, they have won some. There's no national trend. Each state votes differently. There are different issues in different states. There are different political grammars in different states, and people vote differently. In fact, there were 2 by-elections for Lok Sabha seats, and in both the seats, the Congress party has won. So, can I say that is again a rejection of the government of the day, because we won both those by-elections in Nanded and in Wayanad? So, there is no national trend. There are all state-specific issues, constituency-specific issues, which seem to have determined this election.
And at that very start of the Parliament session, well, it was TDP MP from Vizianagaram who wanted to put out a larger message when it comes to the air pollution crisis here in the national capital. In fact, he took a cycle to the Parliament. Let's listen in to what the TDP MP had to say.
Well, we are reporting from the Parliament, and just behind me you can see heavy smog and air pollution is at its peak. Parliament session begins from today, and this MP named Appala Naidu Kalisetti, he is from Vizianagaram, Andhra Pradesh, had taken his cycle out, and now he had taken his cycle and came to the Parliament. Sir, you have taken once again your cycle out and came to the Parliament. We are inside the Parliament and there is heavy smog, air pollution is at its peak. What message you want to give to the people in large who are using vehicles, who are using transportation that causes pollution in larger?
Yes, especially first and member of Parliament leaders, all leaders and MPs and ministers, give me message or public pollution. Firstly, cycle. Next, all public and using definitely message to speaker. Please, public, all public pollution control in Delhi.
Will your party also raise this important issue inside the Parliament of your party?
Yes, I am Telugudesam Party, Chandrababu Naidu ji. Definitely, my party symbol cycle. All issues, Parliament, Andhra Pradesh issues also.
And let's just also listen in to what Manikam Tagore had to say. Well, he has spoken about how it is a Congress who is going to be taking up that issue as far as the state of Manipur is concerned during this winter session.
Parliament is allowed by the treasury benches to function.
So what about the Waqf Bill amendment? How will the opposition, debate this in the Parliament?
We know that the Parliament joint committee has become a BJP committee, and the whole purpose of the committee has got destroyed because of the approach of the BJP, and we all feel that there is an attempt by the BJP to divide this country, spread hatred, spread anti-minority sentiments in the people's mind. Prime Minister Modi himself is leading that thing, but we will fight for those this kind of anti-minority and anti-Dalit stand of the government. We will continue to rise for those oppressed sections.
So you brought about the communal violence in Sambhal. Speaking about Manipur as well, if you could tell us, Manipur has been burning for so long, and how is the opposition planning to look forward to tackle into that matter as well? We
had been demanding for a Manipur discussion on Manipur, and the government previous session also, we asked the Prime Minister to visit Manipur. Prime Minister Modi was not ready to visit Manipur. Amit Shah ji has not gone after the recent violence also. It is very disturbing that Prime Minister and Home Minister is running away from Manipur's real issues. The hate in Manipur is an issue, and we continue to stand with this for the brotherhood and the peace in Manipur.
And there's clash as far as the Constitution Day is concerned. Mega celebrations, do remember, have been planned, but now it's the India bloc that has written to the Speaker asking for the opposition leaders, the leaders of opposition, to be invited for the event as well. And we have Vasudha joining us. Vasudha, a major event, of course, a major celebration planned for the 75 years of the Constitution. And it is, the Constitution Day, also known as a Samvidhan Divas Day, that's, always observed on the 26th of November, marking the adoption as far as the Indian Constitution in 1949 by the Constituent Assembly. And here it is the India bloc leaders now saying that they also want to be part of the event.
Absolutely, Divya. If you look at the political developments in the last few months, ever since in the run-up to 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the Constitution has been a major point of contention, with each party saying that the other party is trying to undermine constitutional values. In fact, 2024 Lok Sabha elections was largely centered around who protects the Constitution better. And we saw the same thing play out in the Maharashtra elections also. But of course, the results were reversed here, with the BJP mounting a very aggressive campaign that it's the Congress that's trying to spread fake narratives on this. What is going to happen now tomorrow is, of course, a symbolic, mega celebration of the Indian Constitution, the kind of founding values, the kind of values our founding fathers centered it around. In fact, at 1 o'clock today, the the centre will actually hold a press conference with the Culture Minister, Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Kiran Rijiju, Culture Minister, Gajendra Shekhawat, and they will reveal their plans to celebrate the ethos of Indian Constitution. But the opposition has also made it very clear that they also want to be part of this. That is why they've told the Speaker, they've requested the Speaker, they've urged the Speaker that the LOPs, the leader of opposition parties, should also be invited as speakers in this very important function. The other symbolic aspect of it is that it's happening in the old Parliament's central hall, which has for years been, symbolic and reflective of our democratic principles, the kind of space that the Parliament holds in Indian democracy. So clearly, tomorrow is going to be possibly one of the biggest flashpoints of the winter session of the Parliament.
Right, take us through, this event that's been planned as far as the central hall of the old Parliament building is concerned in order to mark the 75 years.
Absolutely. This function is going to happen in the Central Hall of the Parliament. We are told that they'll have speakers, who will talk about the importance of the Indian Constitution, the way it was framed. And remember, even in NDTV Samvidhan Summit yesterday, Kiran Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, talked about how the idea was originated by the Prime Minister's own thinking. In fact, he, as a young political leader, used to emphasize on the importance of Constitution. So this is something that the government holds very dear to itself. And at the same time, the opposition does not want to let go of its opportunity to showcase itself as the only party that only alliance that actually is capable of protecting the Constitution, especially when it comes to the reservation policy and the rights of the deprived sections of people.
Right, a commemorative coin and a stamp will also be released, Vasudha, on that very occasion to mark the 75 years. And of course, now the leader of opposition there writing to the Speaker saying that they would also want to be part of that event that's going to be taking place in the Central Hall at the old Parliament building. Thank you so much, Vasudha, for joining us. When we, in fact, let's just also talk about Maharashtra now. And it is Praful Patel who has gone on to say that there is no problem when it comes to the alliance and that the same formula will stay in place of one chief minister and two deputy chief ministers. Let's listen into this exclusive interview with Praful Patel.
Well, joining with me, senior leader of NCP, Praful Patel. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us after the bumper victory in the state of Maharashtra. Now, can you put a pause on all those speculations that are going on the rounds about the chief minister's ways not being decided amongst the three alliance partners?
See, we have comprehensively won Maharashtra as the NDA, Mahayuti, and there is no difference between the three parties. We worked excellently. We had a little setback in the Lok Sabha for various other reasons, but this time all the three parties, all the workers worked with each other hand in hand, and we won the elections. We won the confidence of the people of Maharashtra, and this is a spectacular victory, unprecedented. That's why it puts much more responsibility on us to behave and act responsibly. I don't see any problem. The issue of formation of government will be resolved in the next few days.
Sir, Prime Minister today also spoke and attacked the Congress party specifically. They stated that a lot of the Congress leaders, the senior leaders, do not give opportunities to the new young MPs inside the parliament.
Well, now, I have not heard the speech, so I don't want to say that. But I can also tell you, as a Congress party, in Maharashtra at least I have seen, it has self-imploded because, they just don't have the right leadership. They don't know the pulse of the people, and they are living in some kind of a la la land and believing that, they were leading the pack to form the government. In fact, कौन बनेगा मुख्यमंत्री ये फॉर्मूला हमारे लिए नहीं था, उनके लिए था जो काल्पनिक चुनाव अभी हुआ नहीं था, चुनाव के पहले ही उन्होंने अपने मुख्यमंत्री की बंदर बाट शुरू कर दी थी। तो ये तो हास्यास्पद बात है। वक्त और बताएगा कि ये और कहाँ जाएंगे।
Formula will be the same, one chief minister.
हमारे सरकार जो आज है उसमें एक मुख्यमंत्री, 2 उप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, तो स्वाभाविक है कि 3 पार्टी होने से ये फॉर्मूला लगभग हमारा आगे भी कायम रहेगा।
And the winter session of the Parliament that started this morning with 3 key bills that were coming up for discussion. Do remember that both the houses have been adjourned till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and that is minutes from now. At the moment, the houses have been adjourned, but the winter session is expected to continue till the 20th of December, and of course it is the opposition party that is expected to bring about issues such as the situation in Manipur, also the Waqf bill, and of course it's the Prime Minister urging all members of the Parliament to participate in a very peaceful manner, and also the participation and contribution from the maximum members of the Parliament is what the Prime Minister has asked for, while taking a dig at the opposition party, saying that the opposition is blinded by self-centered agenda. We have my colleague Aishwarya joining us. Aishwarya, of course, both the houses have been adjourned, but take us through what the Prime Minister really said before the start of the session.
Well, in a customary speech before the winter session started, it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who stated about the adoption of constitution and how tomorrow it would be celebrated across the country. But also attacked the Congress party and the opposition parties, took a dig at the Congress party as far as the recent Maharashtra polls are concerned, where they faced a huge setback. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stated that the Congress party and the opposition is blinded by self-centric agenda. New MPs should be given an impulse to opportunities that is being taken away from some of the leaders of the Congress party. In fact, Prime Minister also stated that opposition are not in sync with people's expectation, and they have got the payback that they deserve. As far as the smooth functioning parliament is concerned, Prime Minister stated that few of the people have self-centric agenda and they want to stall the parliament. There should be healthy debates in the parliament, and a lot of attention went to the disruption in the earlier sessions, and that should not be done. Of course, we have to respect people's wishes in a democracy, and that's where Prime Minister clearly gave a strong message at the beginning of the winter session of Parliament. But of course, the opposition parties clearly has stated that if they submit the adjournment motions, that is a part of the parliamentary democracy, and there is nothing wrong into it. The nation's interest should be kept in mind as far as the adjournment motions are concerned, and the government should take up those adjournment motions if they are not. So yes, there are different opinions within the opposition bloc and these treasury benches as well. But how smooth the parliament functions works in this winter session as well is something that remains to be seen. But at the beginning of the winter session itself, we saw how on the day one there were opposition MPs who raised many slogans, and therefore the reason perhaps both the houses were adjourned. Rajya Sabha reconvened now, but Lok Sabha will reconvene at around 12 noon.
Right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for joining us with those details. And moving on now, today is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and a pledge for men and boys to respect and protect women is turning into a movement. The idea is to bring about a change as far as the attitude among men and boys is concerned, and for which we have popular star Revati talking us through promoting this initiative called PEN.
And the pledge is very simple. It says, I pledge to oppose all forms of violence against women. I promise to respect, support, and listen to women in my community. Together we can create a world where everyone feels safe and valued. I think that is very important, to be valued. So everybody, every male takes a pledge, and every woman asks their male friends or male companions to take the same pledge. If every man respects and safeguards the women around them in the community, or at least supports them and lets them, gives them the space to speak, automatically the world will become a very safe place. World will become a space where there is gender equality.
And also promote fairness, treat sons and daughters equally in terms of opportunities, discipline and praise. Avoid favoritism or imposing different expectations based on gender. These small, consistent actions can help create a home environment where respect and equality are the norm, providing a strong foundation for boys to carry these values into the broader world. Teach boundaries and consent from an early age. Teach boys to respect personal space and listen when someone says no. Model this behavior within the family, such as asking for permission or checking in on comfort levels.
And that was taking a very short break. Back with a whole lot more on the other side with my colleague Osama. Do stay with us. Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con, NDTV initiative for cyber safety. Only on NDTV 24/7.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं.
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
महायुति में भी इससे ज़्यादा डिस्प्यूट है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
वोट देने वाले ही जिताने वाले हैं ना.
So we worked on 4 options.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
So a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party,
It's a web of frauds, calls, luring emails, threatening messages. Cyber frauds have cast their net wide and everyone is at risk. We track the victims, their horror stories as they get conned online, extorted and robbed of their hard-earned money. How to identify a cyber fraud and how to stay cyber safe. What are your options? Fraud.con. NDTV initiative for cyber safety. Only on NDTV 24/7.
हम ये चुनाव विकास के मुद्दे पर लड़ रहे हैं.
Let them come for an open debate with me. I've challenged Eknath Shinde multiple times.
Congress is in the worst situation in this state.
महायुति में भी इससे ज्यादा डिस्प्यूट है.
Everything is fair in love and politics.
Nifty and Sensex turned positive, trade nearly 2% up after both the indices recorded losses in the month of October. The Adani Group stocks rally and rebound from the last week as well. The Adani Group portfolio companies posted a record first half in the ongoing financial year as well as trailing 12 months performance led by its incubating businesses with limited net exposure to Indian banks. It is the first day of the winter session of the Parliament. Prime Minister Modi targets the opposition over the recent poll results. Prime Minister says that people rejected opposition multiple times. Congress, in the meanwhile, retorts, saying recent poll results are not a referendum. A big face-off over Constitution Day today as government plans mega Constitution Day celebration. Opposition rise to the Lok Sabha Speaker say that leaders of opposition must be invited for the event. Deliberations and discussions on Maharashtra Chief Minister selections to continue. Top contenders Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde likely to reach Delhi today to hold meetings with Amit Shah. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shab. There's a lot that is going on with respect to the markets today. The Indian stock markets, they rallied this morning. 2 consecutive days of gains in Nifty and Sensex have helped them turn positive on a monthly basis. This comes after both the indices recorded losses in the month of October. Remember, Indian stock markets rallied this morning after the BJP-led NDA secured a massive victory in the assembly elections in Maharashtra, which houses the country's financial capital, Mumbai. All the 13 major sectors, they also logged gains. The broader, more domestically focused small and mid caps, they also rose about 2% each. In fact, I'm also currently joined by my colleague Maria Shakil, who's standing outside the parliament there. Maria, take it away.
All right, Osama, as you said, the markets are certainly showing a lot of confidence, and the fact that there has been a landslide victory of the BJP-led Mahayuti, which